And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. Tonight, I actually have a very good friend of mine. I have the Sleevie G podcast with me. He's also part of the Playlist Wars podcast, and it's good to actually have him on here. I also have my good friend Taco. Of course, I have Jamie Jamie with me as well, and then of course I have Anthony from ACS Universe. And, of course, Jamie's also from In the Front Row. So with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's get on with the show. I can't wait to talk about some Last of Us. This is actually one of my favorite episodes. So with further ado, let's do it. All right. Hey, guys. How's it going?
What up?
What's up, guys?
Good.
Hey.
Hi.
Hola. You guys... So you guys ready to talk about some Last of Us?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Big time.
Yeah.
So this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to go on ahead and give a brief synopsis of what episode 5 is, and then we'll go on ahead and break it down from there. So basically, this episode is called Endure and Survive. Henry and Sam make a tentative truce with Joel and Ellie. Joel wants to part ways, but Henry proposes they escape to a city together using underground tunnels, routes that only Henry knows. Joel instantly agrees, and that's taking it lightly. So what I like about this episode is the fact that you actually get a little bit more of a background story with Henry, and you're actually on this journey with them and on how they actually follow Joel and Ellie. And I definitely like how you go into this whole entire detail of, okay, we don't know that much about him unless you play the video game and stuff like that. But I liked how they tied everything in together to where we care about them even more. And then you also have this whole entire thing with Kathleen, where she winds up shooting these other people for ratting out where Henry and his brother is. And I thought that was actually something that was so you get killed either which way, and also too you also get hung as well. And so I thought that was pretty interesting. But what did you guys think of the opening and all that stuff?
People can't. Whoever starts first.
I'll say this real quick. The show opened, and obviously we saw how it ended last week. And if you played the game, you already had this little anticipation about what was coming. Yo, Kansas City people are ruthless, bro. Like they were that little opening montage. They were slicing heads, shooting people in the face. And they were just glad to have their freedom, obviously. And a lot of that stuff doesn't come from the game. Like, this is stuff that they added to the show, which is absolutely incredible. But yeah, the opening of it was, I was like, yo, these people are happy to be free. I'll sum it up like that. They're very happy to have got rid of Fredra. So there you go. That's what I thought of it.
The main thought I thought of, speaking of Kansas City, when they were like, hey, you don't have any zombies here. I wanted him to go, zombies? This is just Kansas City. What are you talking about, zombies? This is just normal for us. No, I really like the episode, and I do like, so in the video game, they always talk about the dichotomy, right, of the strong, monstrous guy and then the person he's protecting or they're protecting, right? So it's like Joel with Tess, and then you had like Bill and Frank, and in the game, it's really a lot with these two characters too, but I like that they flipped it. And the monster, well, for one, I'm forgetting Sam and
Henry.
Henry.
So Henry, yeah.
They're very much that dichotomy in the video game of Henry's the killer, and he's very much a Joel in the video game, like almost straight up. And Sam is a lot like Ellie. He's even the closer in age. He's 13 when she's 14 in the video game. But I like that they made him more vulnerable and made Henry not a killer. Like he's pretty innocent. Like he was a rat and he kind of did what he had to do to survive. But he wasn't like he wasn't like that Shane from Walking Dead type, like what you have to be to survive in this world. Right. And I thought that was really cool, is they kind of showed there's other ways to protect and do what you have to do without just being an absolute monster like Joel is.
Sure. Well, we talked about this last. Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, you go.
No, you
okay.
Go. You go first.
We talked about it last week, talking about like whose perspective you're looking from as to who is the bad guy. Like in this situation, he's sitting there saying, I am a monster. Like I got somebody killed. But, in his eyes, he was just protecting his brother. He just wanted the, treatment for cancer and things like that. So he's not necessarily a bad guy in some people's perspective, but from Kathleen's point of view, she's like, he's got to go. Fuck this guy, you know. So it all depends on perspective, I guess. So yeah, that's exactly what you were saying. You know, yeah, it's good to see that there's other, you know, monsters in different ways, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Children die all the time. This is Kansas City. Come on.
Well, first of all, I know it's Kansas City, but you're in Jersey. You're wearing cement shoes, zombie or not zombie. You're going to put 60 feet underwater. Okay?
All of Kansas City's zombies are just all at the bottom of the.
That's fair.
We got rid of them all. They're still alive.
I'll just say this: congratulations to Kansas City Chiefs for winning the
Oh
Super
yeah,
Bowl.
yes, congrats,
Absolutely.
man. Congrats.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
The 14
Eagle.
But I'll just say on that. But it was a great episode. A lot of surprises. I'll say. I just started playing the video game, so I'm at episode 2. Sorry, not season 1, episode 2. Video game. That's where I know.
Okay.
But the changes to the game to the show is unbelievably uncanny because I was playing. I'm like the first part of the game, like wow, exactly like episode 1, exactly to the T. Episode 2, you see a little change, but you still like wow, still playing it. So I think they're doing a very great, but a really awesome job.
Yeah, and then episode 3, Bill and Frank is not the video game Bill and Frank.
No. But
Well,
it's funny.
no.
The special guest I had on my Sleevie G podcast, a New Jersey broadcaster, anchor and reporter Christina Bear, we were just talking about a little bit of this, and she actually mentions like you're going to be on a podcast on Wednesday talking about this, and we talked on it briefly. It was like, oh, you got to be a video game guy to drink, and she goes, no, I don't, because I understand it fully. So I mean, you know, so it just shows how good this show is, and thank God it's not like The Walking Dead. I got tired of it pretty quickly.
Hey. The rule on this show. You want on this channel, you don't go dissing my dad.
No, you know what it is? It's not dissing it. Like the first 5 seasons were unreal, but as you keep going, it's like, how much more can you go?
It's the idea of respecting IP and not just using IP, right?
Yeah.
If I wanted to make a Spider-Man movie, but I'm going to call it Spider-Man just to get all the Spider-Man fans, but really I just want to make my own movie, that's one thing. And that's kind of what The Walking Dead eventually became. The names of characters are just so people go, oh, Negan, I know Negan, but not really follow it. But the fact that Last of Us, what it's doing different. Not saying better. I'm not trying to diss Walking Dead. I watched it way too long. I watched it way longer than I should have. But I also read literally every single issue. I love Walking Dead. I'm a comic book guy, and I own majority of them. But anyways, but what they did differently is one of the showrunners is the director of the freaking video games. And that's what you need to do. You need to get somebody who knows the story and then somebody who knows television. Get the dude who made freaking Chernobyl and the guy who knows the medium. And that's when you're going to get a perfect meld of the video game story with, you know, understanding how television works.
Well, and they say as much in if you watch the after the episode thing, you know,
those things are amazing.
Yeah, but the guy that I can't remember his name now, but the one that was on the game, that worked on the game, he says there are spots when I'm willing to divert from the story of the game, but there are times when I'm just not, and I'm just not going to. And I think that blend has worked. I mean, just it's the best video game adaptation I've ever seen. Period. Yeah, it really is.
It's really hard not to agree. But
I was just trying to see what was. If they gave it that name, but it didn't.
It's Neil Druckmann. Is he? That's who you're talking about?
Yeah, something like that.
Neil. It is Neil. I can't remember.
Neil Druckmann. Like that. He wrote the game and co-directed it for Naughty Dog. Yeah. He's like the one of Naughty Dog's presidents, I guess you could say. As far as the
so when you have somebody that's that close to the game, he's not going to let this be bad. He's just not.
Well,
there might be scenes, there might be little things that happen that he could, just can't get around because of storytelling wise, and it's a show and not a game. But overall, I think they're doing a perfect job of
they're doing it right, and they're going in with the right intentions. And that's it. As people, I'm glad that people are starting to see creative IPs from different genres, not just a way to have a built-in audience, but then to actually respect it. And Midnight Cinema, he just did a comment about how it's not better than Dragon Ball Evolution. That's based off of a cartoon, not a video game. You're right. Dragon Ball Evolution was better.
True.
But
amazing.
Another thing I wanted to mention was this, okay? We forget to, within the characters themselves, this is actually dealing with kids within this world and the zombie apocalypse. And this is what my coworker and I were both talking about in the hallway. She goes, the blood transfusion thing is kind of funny in a sense because of the fact that, it was kind of odd to see. I said, yeah, but from a kid's perspective, she thinks that's going to work because she has no idea what a blood transfusion is.
Yeah.
So in her mind, sprinkling some blood onto a wound, thinking that it's going to get into the bloodstream, is going to be enough to save this kid.
Yeah,
So
I like that she tries.
Right.
Well, she says
so
as much. She says, "I'm the
hey.
cure." She thinks that her blood just touching, like you said, just touching him is going to be enough. Yeah.
But I give her credit, man. That's survival skills right there that no
Yeah.
one teaches.
Yeah.
And she doesn't do that in the video
either.
game.
No,
I do like that adding because you're right. She wouldn't know how it works, and also this is a zombie world. If all of a sudden weird fungus zombies were going around, and if somebody was like, by the way, I'm a vampire, bite this, I'd be like, oh, I believe you immediately because there's zombies everywhere. I'm gonna take some of your immortal blood because you're a vampire.
I do that regardless of zombies. Turn me immortal.
I got some beach property to sell you.
If a zombie comes after me, that thing is getting shot.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it.
I don't care if you live in Jersey, Kansas City, California, Texas. You're done.
Yeah.
I live in North Dakota. You think zombies are going to survive the winter here? I am not worried, dude.
I don't know. I haven't had
people with moving
winters.
blood don't last too long outside around here.
Right.
I'm in New Jersey. I'm in the middle of winter, and today it's like 65 degrees outside.
Yeah, let me tell you. I'm in Georgia, and I have the AC on right now. Yesterday, heat. Georgia's ridiculous, but yeah.
Oh no,
We had a negative 45 wind chill last night in a blizzard.
Yeah.
let's talk.
That's what I'm talking about. I need that.
Fair enough.
Well, not
Yeah.
the
No,
negative 45.
you literally lose limbs like that. Like,
Yeah.
zombies wouldn't make it. I'm a warm-blooded, a zombie isn't, and I would freeze to death out there.
Yeah.
That's screwed.
Hey, Jeremy Renner can't be Hawkeye anymore because of the snow incident. So snow is real this year. The snow is definitely real.
Wait, as long
I
as
can tell you
nobody-
what. I can tell you one thing. Who can not survive in the snowstorm is the Federa. The people who actually own the operation of this whole entire deal. Where we
Fedra.
actually Fedra.
Fedra, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like how they do a comparison of the two. Where you have actually it's three different things if you think about it, because Joel comes from a different type of city where things are being operated differently.
Right.
They're dealing with basically Fedra, and then once Fedra is defeated, then you actually have Kathleen who comes up, and these people are following her, and then there's even this one shot, even with the actor who played Tommy, where he kind of looks at her like, wait, really? You really want me to kill them? After they gave you information?
You talking about Perry?
Yeah.
Perry.
Yeah.
But
That amazing beard. Oh my god.
Yeah, he does have a good beard.
He
Jeez.
got a very brutal death, didn't he?
But
Like his
he-
death was like not deserved at
that's
all.
bad.
He got the
real.
shame, I
That guy
guess.
Perry was in a movie. Was he in the last Fast and the Furious, Fate of the Furious?
Was it?
No,
I
that was
I don't know, he might have been.
the guy he's from Game of Thrones, man.
Okay, man, they looked identical twins.
Yeah, they
almost.
do. They do. Yeah.
You'll
But,
recognize his voice when you start playing because his voice of Tommy, and I don't
Yes.
I don't recognize
Yes.
his face, but the second he starts talking, I just went through the entire game, so I'm like, Tommy,
Yep.
what's up? Like it's
Which is
so
so weird.
uncanny.
That is
Which
him.
is so weird because the guy that plays Tommy in the first episode is almost identical voice wise too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
He's really
That
close.
was
really
yeah.
close.
Good. I'm glad that. I mean, obviously, we might talk about that towards the end. I'm glad. Well, he's coming back next episode. Obviously, they had the little preview for episode 6, so he will be returning to us. So yeah. But he does. See,
I'm gonna.
You know, it's funny. It took me a while to figure out where I found Kathleen from. Her
She's in
character.
a lot of stuff, man.
Well, you know what's funny? You know where I saw her the most? It was on a TV show, 2.5 Men. Didn't realize she was Rose.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
for
she's
me
very-
to see
Oh
her,
wow,
was-
really?
yes,
Yeah.
I didn't notice it either.
So
Yeah.
you go from pervert Rose to hardcore Kathleen with a gun in her hand, and you're like, what the hell?
So
You're trying to go out with
That's
Charlie
hilarious.
Sheen, and
That's what
now
messed her up. That's
Yeah, that's why she's like, I don't trust you, kill them all.
Kill them. Kill them.
She hung out with tiger blood a little too long.
Kill everybody.
No. So to go off what you're saying, John, I love what Henry said of if you just treat people like crap and if you just kill and torture people, the second they get in power, what do you think they're going to do? Yep. Like, that's what the revolution never starts off kindly. There's always a purge, man. The second in our world, whenever there's a revolution, you think the French Revolution, they took over the monarchy and then they're like, all right, we're all going to be cool now. No, they decapitated each other for like 30 years.
Yeah, right.
Like,
which is what you got at the beginning of this episode when it was just showing sort of Kansas City gaining their freedom. And they were just, like I said, murking cats, slicing heads.
Which kind of makes me wonder, though, because if it's cool where Joel's from with Fedra, or at least to the extent that it's
cooler.
Yeah, right. I mean, they're at least not murdering people apparently the way these people were. Yeah. So how much is Fedra really actually in control, and that these people aren't just using the name?
Or even
to
better,
control these areas.
In cahoots,
you know what I mean?
Are they talking? Because if I was like the guy in charge of Boston Fedra and Kansas City Fedra, I'm finding out is like torturing people and doing all this stuff. I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, do we have to send troops over and take over? Like,
think the opposite way. What if like the head of Fedra is like Hitler, and and like Boston is the one out of line, and he's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Why aren't you guys killing everybody? You know what I mean? I mean, we don't know exactly how this.
How's your guys' torture quota? We haven't tortured anybody. Well, you got to pump those numbers up.
I'm just saying it could go either way. You know, we don't know what the intentions are. So, one of them's right, one of them's wrong, or however you want to say it.
I think after 2 decades, pretty much, and they say it several times throughout just the 5 episodes, like 20 years since the shit jumped off. I think. With the federal stuff, whatever territories that they took over, they don't communicate probably. Maybe because if the Kansas City one is super grimy, but the one where Joe was at in Boston is not. It's kind of like whoever was in control of them at the beginning take over these spots, and then obviously they probably got burnt because it is a bad episode. Whoever was in control at the beginning is probably gone. So those federal stations. They probably whoever was in charge there is probably in charge until what happened to Kansas City, where the people uprise.
Well, they're not using satellites, so they're pretty limited as far as how far communication can go.
The radio
at this point. I mean,
or could they fox them? Since they can't use the faxes, could they fox them?
What's a fox?
I was going from Robin Hood Men in Tights here.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Wait, what are you doing?
I got you.
I'm an idiot. I love Mel Brooks. I messed that up.
That movie's phenomenal. Yeah.
A couple of you guys caught it pretty quickly. Anthony's like, he already knew what I was talking about.
No, I mean, you're from Jersey. You probably have some weird way to fax people around there.
It's cool.
I've said it many times. History of the World is my favorite comedy.
Oh my
God. Called a rat with wings, a pigeon.
Your guys' national bird, right?
No, that would be the swallow from one of our old governors.
Ours is I get it. That's good. Ours is a mosquito. Is our national bird. Anyways, John, you want to get us back on track? Do your job, man.
Wrangle us in, John. Wrangle us in, man.
That's great.
You're on.
You
muted yourself.
You're making it real easy for me.
Sorry, but no. What I wanted to say was this. Okay, now the part where we wind up seeing Henry talking, of course, to Sam, and he's telling him. It seems like, well, what's going on outside? There's something going on, and he's like, we're gonna follow this guy that we don't know anything about. And try to find a way to survive, because if we don't, we're gonna die here. And he just got done seeing Joel take down some of Fedra's people, also Kathleen's people.
Yeah.
So they're good to go. He already knows. Look, we're gonna be good with them. We just have to figure a way out of this to be able to go to them and figure out how to talk to them. But I like how how Henry's actually holding the gun to Joel's head. Joel pointing the gun at Joel, and this is actually one of my favorite parts, is where he goes, so I don't know what to do from here. because he never killed anybody. And
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and then
Also, his
Ellie's
gun has no
like,
bullets too, so he's like, all right,
Right.
they follow.
Yeah, he has
they
no
fell
bullets
for
in
him.
that gun, right? Yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, he has no bullets in that gun.
Well, they say it. He said earlier the closest thing I ever got to killing somebody was holding an unloaded gun to you.
Yes, that's
I'm
right.
going to state, I think that Henry is the luckiest dude in the world because this could have been any situation. He went up there, like, trusted in Joel, was hoping that Joel would. How would he know that, like, Ellie's not, like, his prisoner and he's a crazy psychopath and he went up there without, like, he's so lucky that Joel's the main character. He could have got screwed over.
right. But at the same
really
time,
risky.
though.
Oh, Joel is not. He's not.
No.
Because Ellie's like, come on, Joel, tell him that he's going to be okay. And he says something, and he's like,
We're
yeah.
good.
Joel-
like,
Joel-
really
Oh,
bland.
man.
Joel's like, the second that's not being pointed at me, I'm tearing this guy's jaw off.
Yeah.
Joel is mad condescending with his comments. Yeah, it's cool. And
Yeah,
he's
we
like, see? And Joel, Ellie's like, no, trust him. He's cool. He just
He's
has
got
an
an asshole
asshole
voice.
voice. Yeah. And then he's like, tell him. Oh, he's like,
That's a great line.
yeah, it's good. And she's like, God damn it, Joel, you son of a... He's literally like... Because Joel,
Like
look, in that situation, just from what we've seen of Joel in the show, and from what people who played the game know of Joel would have fucking that kid and the grown man would have murdered both of them instantly. If he'd have had a chance to grab his weapon and do what he had to do, because he doesn't take chances, and that's why the story between the game and the show is so good, because we know Joel's just like, the only reason he basically, and along the way, obviously he catches, he becomes more and more endearing to Ellie. But at the beginning, he promised Tess he'd do this. Yeah, he promised Tess, so that's why I'm doing this.
Yep.
Beyond that, get the fuck out of here. That was his attitude. But now you can see it changed, and I'm sure we'll get to that. Like
it's definitely faster. It's happening faster in the show than in the game.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
But it makes sense the way it's happening in the show, though. Too. It's not like they're forcing it. It doesn't make sense how it's playing.
They're not force feeding us this at all, because But Jamie, what did you think though, as far as the confrontation with Joel and stuff like that too?
Yeah, I thought that was a really funny moment. But as you guys have already mentioned, we saw in the past episodes that he's really warming up to her because of the fact that he's starting to realize, shit, all of these experiences that I got to experience as a kid, she hasn't and probably never will. Let's be honest. So I think he's really warming up to her, and then seeing that same sort of, I don't want to call it a relationship, but that same sort of warmth that he was showing to her, that he showed to, was it Sam that was the baby or Henry? Which one was the baby one?
Sam.
Yeah, he showed that same sort of, they've got that innocence being children, and he sort of saw that, like when he was about to walk through that door, just because it had the pretty castle on it and stuff like that, like so innocent, it's just beautiful. And Joel's like, get the fuck, like you ain't going in there, like that sort of.
And another thing too, Jamie, is like this: you're in the tunnels, and he goes, "Well, we're gonna be good because Fedra ended up cleaning this out about 5-10 years ago." Oh, 10 years ago.
I am never trusting that either. Just so you know, I'm never ever trusting that.
Oh, the government handled it 3 years ago. Come on.
Government, you just
they're the good guys.
We saw the response
right now.
Yeah, we saw the response where he was like, and they're clear. He's like, well,
he
told me that Joe was like, God damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was immediately like, damn it.
There might be a few down there, but you just clear them out. Like, that's like, come on, dude. Like, come on.
But then
100% were clear. Oh, okay. What about now?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I wanted to mention was like, because you see, I told you the tunnels were clear. And we only been here for 5 minutes.
I was like, they literally just closed the door behind him, and he said it. He's like, wait,
I told you. Joe was like, bruh, chill. Literally,
he yells it too. Say the word alone. What are you doing?
But that's what I'm talking about, though. That's the innocence of a teenager and a child that has not been in this kind of world before.
Yeah.
And trying to learn to adapt into this world while also trying to grow up to fast kind of situation where you kind of forget
20 years
that they're kids.
I would put him in his early 20s. I would put Henry.
Yeah, early
You
20s.
think he's early 20s? Okay, I was going to say, I was thinking he was still like 17, 18.
Me too.
Maybe at the
I don't know.
most.
I think
I
I'd
was
give him
thinking he
20s.
was born after the event, which means he wouldn't.
Yeah,
really
I
have any
definitely think
experience of the world before.
I'd give him 25. Maybe he was just a kid when it started. I guess you know what I'm saying.
Right.
I don't.
Right.
I feel you with it because he's like he's I'm nonviolent is basically what he said. Like when him and Joel had a couple conversations, but I'd say if he's younger than the event, holy shit, man, that's.
Well,
I didn't think they'd make it this
feels
far.
like Carl, kind of
Right.
like Carl to me, somebody that has lived in this world for a long enough time that they're mature, but they're still a kid. They're still like they never really got to mature the right way. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, and that's what I love about Ellie is that's why she's the way she is because she's had a pretty decent life for being in this world, like, but it's still that's why she's a potty mouth and why she doesn't understand a lot and why she takes everything. So yeah, I love it.
Oh, she's great.
I wanted to say one thing before we moved on past Joel's carnage is I'm not fully. I haven't met the Joel from the video game fully yet. And by that, I mean the overly violent. Like in the video game, you go, dude, you don't have to go this far. And he does that. Like when he's torturing one person and making him like, when he's questioning somebody that they do it a lot, but it's like, he's got somebody down and they can't see. And he's like, point at where it is on the map. And then he goes over to another person he's torturing. It's like, you point at the same place where you both died. That like kind of really cold, really violent. This Joel definitely has got balls. Like I'm not going to mess with Pedro Pascal Joel, but he's not quite that
it's a show. That's how I
jacked to
explain
11 that I love about video game Joel. Because like video game
if
Joel,
we get video game Joel in this show, I think it gets half the viewers.
like I'd buy him a beer, but I wouldn't let him around my kid. You know?
No, I won't around the kids. That's fine with me.
No.
Yeah.
I'll let him.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you 1000%. Yeah. He's I will say, and I don't, John, I don't know where we're moving next, but I will say this entire season, and I said this probably the second episode that we were reviewing on this show, and I said I'll probably run out of words to describe this series before it ends because I've never seen this done so well. And the game is fun. Look, the game is like I've said, I played a bunch of times. It is absolutely incredible. I would change nothing from the game, and to see them take that material and elevate it. I thought they elevated it through episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I got to this, and I was like, "Whoa, it's."
I have one word.
Yeah,
crushed it. Well, two
words.
Yes.
Sorry,
two words.
No space.
I got one word. I really enjoyed it. Wait, look. What's the one word? I had other ones.
But yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead. Get to the sniper shot.
Yeah, we're gonna get into this now because we're actually under. Okay, so basically they're still inside this classroom area because of the fact that hey, look, this is a place that everybody had these rules and. That they had, and that's why they're gone. Joel even points that out. Then we have this whole entire thing between basically when we actually have not Henry, but what was the brothers? Sam.
Sam.
Yeah. Between Sam and Ellie, where it's like, oh, and she's doing sign language with him. And then she's like, oh, I got these comic books right here. So therefore you have that connection that we didn't get in the actual video game itself a little bit. We got it a little bit, but not as much. Yeah, but then once you get onto that point, it's like, okay, so you got the emotional attachment to the characters. You have, of course, the connection for Ellie, who has a connection with the little brother, who now she's establishing a relationship with them. So therefore you're thinking, okay, well, they're going to probably wind up hanging out together later on. And everything will be cool because that's how it's laid out in the video game up until something else happens.
Yeah.
But then, okay, so now they're out of that area. Because Joel said, hey, look, it's time to get going. So they get going. And then, of course, they're out of it. And then, of course, that's when we have the sniper rifle scene.
Yes.
With this, and, of course, we're thinking, okay, so who's actually shooting at them? And it's actually one of Kathleen's people that is in the outskirts of that city, because who would have actually thought that somebody would actually make it out to the outskirts? So you would need somebody out in the outskirts who's trying to escape the city. So I thought that was very clever on Kathleen's place. Oh, like, okay, so we're going to do the least likely thing where people will think that they can escape from, but they're not going to be able to, because I'm going to have this guy standing
Father
guard.
Time out there, yeah.
Right.
I'm surprised he was able to handle that in peace, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't have to. You could have just kicked him in the hip and took him out. Like, you didn't have to waste a bullet.
No, you know who he looked like, man? It kind of tore me up just a bit. Like when I first saw him, I was like, "Oh man, is that the snowman from Home Alone?" Like,
oh no!
no. Yeah,
I love Home Alone.
Bastard, man.
yeah.
I would have loved it. You know what? A good tribute if they did that. If Joel took a shovel and smacked him in the head.
Afterwards, threw him in the salt.
But that's what I
Absolutely.
first thought when I saw him. I was like, "Oh, it looks like him." Shit, man. But it obviously wasn't him. But yeah,
It's the shovel guy. No,
It's the shovel guy.
that scene straight from the game too. Is them running.
Oh yeah.
And and it starts off with him having to dodge the sniper, then he gets up around, and then he grabs the sniper rifle to protect those three. That's straight from the game. And
it is.
Oh, you gotta love that.
One of the things, once he got up there in the show, and I was thinking back, I was like, yo, like at this point in time, it's right in the middle of this. Well, I won't say right in the middle of the scene, but it's starting it. And I remember playing the game. If you played the game, once you're with Ellie and them, and you say, "I'm gonna go around," it's not as easy as Joel just running around. It is.
He literally
hard,
goes
bro.
around.
You have to
Yeah,
fight
you
a
don't-
bunch of people to get to that damn sniper. It's hard. Like I've died so many
Yeah.
times trying
Me
to get
too.
around into it. It's ridiculous. But
Since I'm not there, can you tell me how to get there?
What's the cheat codes?
yo, just,
Right.
you'll
Up,
have
down,
the path
down,
laid
left,
out
right,
before
left,
you,
right.
but you'll have to go into several
It's like
houses and
a
come out of them.
whole
Yeah,
obstacle
it-
course. Yeah.
But I like again, and I've said this before when we've had this conversation about this show is they've traded off. My dogs are barking.
I was
They've
wondering whose
traded
dog it
off-
was. I was like,
they traded off some of the harder battles in the game for some fire shit that you see in the show. You understand what I'm saying? Because in the game, for him to get to that sniper rifle, it's hard. They trade that off for. Let me tell you something. What we see on the screen when that actual scene takes place,
Oh man.
I couldn't have imagined anything better than what they did.
I
That
was shocked.
finally, the first bloater. It happened so sooner in the
Yeah.
game. And
Dude,
then I was
how
like,
awesome was it?
oh,
It was awesome to see
Man,
it.
how
House was falling
perfect.
apart.
last episode when it was going boom, boom, I was like,
Well-
is that a bloater? We're finally going to do a bloater? And then we
You're right.
got him. Oh.
So my wife is like, "You got to be shitting me." That was her first
Well, the way y'all
response.
moved
I'm
and
like,
everything, I was like, oh yeah.
yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, it's on.
We're
I'm
fighting Charmanders, and the clickers are Charmeleons.
Yeah.
Welcome to the final
Dude,
evolution,
right.
yo.
When that thing
And
just
they are
starts running, I was like,
terrifying.
oh shoot. I was like, I want to get out of it.
I told my wife this. I said, "You think dealing with the clickers was bad?
Oh,
you haven't
yeah.
seen the bloaters yet. The bloaters explode and have acid on you.
Well,
That
and
is
they're-
the scary thing."
It's
And
crazy. Yeah.
she goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Shit." I'm like,
They're
"What?"
also one-hit kills in the game.
So, yeah.
Like you can't get
Oh, yeah, you can't
damaged
get
by
around
one.
them.
If it touches
No.
you, it just kills you. That's a
Mhm.
one-hit kill. You can't
Yep.
get near one. And
No.
Yeah, which is why I like the way like he like slammed that one dude down. I was like, yep, that's the strength. That's
The-
absolutely the strength of what
they like they build up Perry with his amazing beard and his
Oh, yeah.
gun that's
Oh, yeah.
always hooked. And then it's just like a Pez dispenser. So
Oh my god.
you don't need this head. Whoa.
Why did he even stay? He said to Kathleen, like, "Oh, you go, like, get safe." I'm
Yeah, I
like,
know.
"Wouldn't you go as well? What the fuck are you?"
Oh, hold it back.
And
Yeah.
I think it's too loyal.
Here, like
Way
you
too
said,
loyal.
Taco, let's make him a Pez dispenser because all I remember, I was watching this Saturday at work and we were slow, and I'm like watching this, I'm like, oh God, snap, he just did that. Like my reaction was a lot different. It was more like, oh, shit, but you know.
Also, how it was filmed is that's why it shocked us all, because she's in the foreground. We're supposed to be watching her, and it's actually happening behind us.
Behind.
So in our head, we go, nothing's about to happen back there. We're watching Kathleen,
Mhm.
and then that happens. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I was like,
Right.
snap, you know, like, oh my God. I couldn't stop with my reaction. Everyone at work goes, what happened? I go, I go, are you on episode 5? Like, no. Then I can't say.
Yeah, I can't tell you.
No,
Yeah.
I can't tell you.
But I was like that too.
Joel's
I
death
mean,
is just nuts. I can't believe they did it so early. Wait, what? Don't
to
ask.
be honest with you, I was like at work though to myself, and I'm watching it as I'm stocking shelves in the warehouse, and I'm like, oh shit! And I screamed that out real loud. My boss goes, "What? Did you fall?" I said, "No, I'm good. I'm good."
No, I
Yeah,
just
she
need a
thought-
floater.
I'm
Yeah.
glad I'm not the only guy who
It's
watches
okay.
HBO at work.
No,
Yeah.
listen, I'm actually a dispatcher, so I have the 2 screens.
Oh my God.
Oh, see, you got the fucking setup, bro. You did.
Right.
We need a fire truck. Just 1 second. The bloater just made it out of the gun.
Police coming.
Yeah.
That's all.
I'm not that type of dispatcher because I'll be in deep trouble. No. But I'm able to catch up, and that's how I was like, "Oh shit! Like seriously, that just happened." And they're like, "What? I'm like, "Did you see it? No, don't worry." But like there I am. I'm usually calm when I'm watching this. I'm like this.
Me too.
I'm like, that just happened. That reaction was like unreal
Because it's so shocking, right? I
it was
mean,
shocking.
because
You see the ground
I
coming
love
up, and you saw this big, freaking massive thing come out of the gun. You're like, what
And-
the hell?
Not to interrupt you, but
No.
shouts out because I figured at some point because the trailers they showed a bloater, before the season even came out, and we watched movies in the past decade, like in shows. You think that the bloater was going to be full CG? Nah, man.
No,
they
man,
made
no.
a prosthetic suit, and it was absolutely
They
incredible.
did
Very
a
good.
That was
phenomenal job.
the work they put into that. Like I'm sure you guys seen the pictures on like
I have.
Instagram.
Oh
where
yeah.
it looks so good. I'm like, that's why this show is absolutely phenomenal because
Same
they
with the
put
clickers
that.
too. They look so
Yes,
They're so good.
man, it looks so
And they
good.
got like contortionists who can figure out the weird, crazy,
Oh,
the
not
young,
human
the
body
young girl
movements.
that they got to
Yeah.
play the kid.
Oh, that was insane.
Yes, the way she and then I seen it the next day after the episode where they actually had like a gymnastic young woman to play that part
Mhm.
where she was
Oh,
flipping
the way
over
she
the
moves
seats
through
after-
that van or that car.
Oh,
my
my
God. I was like,
There's-
Dude, that actually freaked me out a little bit. Actually.
Yeah.
I was like,
There's something up here because it's the uncanny thing, right? We know how humans walk. We've seen humans moving like our whole lives, right? We all look at human
but
beings.
you don't see a
right?
kid do
We see
that.
people- But when something else is controlling them, a plant zombie, right? They're not going to use their bodies the way that humans do because comfort's not a thing and things like that. They don't have bad backs like we do, so they just move all crazy. And then something in our heads go, "Wait, I can't not supposed to move like that,"
Right.
and it
That's not
freaks
right.
people out. It goes back to the
unnatural.
Ring with the chick crawling out of the well, all weird. Like you're not supposed to walk that way, and it freaks us out.
Right. So now we're gonna get into this other part where basically Joel's trying to do the sniper rifle, and then also too Ellie's trying to dodge the bullets and to try and save Sam from underneath the car because looks like he's getting ready to be eaten up by some clickers and stuff like that too.
Mhm.
She winds up saving him, of course, and then she runs all the way across to where Joel is, and then you get this thing with Kathleen where it's like, what makes you so special? Why should you get the why the world does not revolve around you, Henry? What makes you think that you can? I'm like, bitch, you need to go on ahead and
I
sit your
know.
ass down somewhere.
Yeah.
Dude,
That
when
was my
she
first
get-
reaction.
when that little kid goes after her, I was like, yes.
Well,
yes.
I like because she goes, "Children die all the time," and then
Yeah.
the child is the
Yeah.
one who gets her.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
dude,
child's
I
the
was
one
on
that gets
top of
her.
her.
That's kind of it.
Talk
And
about
that child went ham on her though.
Yeah,
like,
she did.
for real.
Oh, you talking about the slaps of
Yeah.
death? It was like,
yeah. Oh, she was.
Oh,
yeah.
she was down.
It was like Mike
It's
Tyson
good to
going after
tenderize your meat a little.
Yeah.
I thought I was like
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren going on Apollo Creed there a little bit, man.
Right.
I was just
That
like,
was so-
damn.
That was so satisfying for some reason, and
Me
we
too.
didn't get much of that woman enough to really hate her that much. But I was just like, oh, get her.
Well,
I was like,
well,
just
I guess
get
Rose
her.
will see. I guess
Hate-
Charlie
hate her
Sheen will
all
see
you-
Rose later.
Hate her all you want, but they did a really good job of
Yeah,
it. Like,
they
yeah,
humanize.
are you telling me that you're not going to be Kathleen? Like your brother, who's essentially like the
Oh, for sure.
the,
Yeah, no, I
the
get her
revolutionary,
motivation. Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
person gets murdered over freaking like this guy trying to save his kid. She cares about her brother more than she cares about Sam. I'm on her side as much as I'm on their side,
yeah,
right?
Oh,
Because
sure,
in
sure.
her eyes, this ratted out to get something, and then the most important,
Yep.
most perfect person in the community had to die over it. I'd be like, kill Henry if I was her. but I'm her, so I'm like, kill Kathleen.
It's whatever perspective you're coming from.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what makes
exactly
this writing so perfect. Is they're nailing that because I hate
it humanizes this thing here where basically it was just something to get through in the game, and they're humanizing these characters to the point where you understand from their perspectives. It's not so much as who's the bad guy and who's not. It's about these guys both have their same motives. They're just on a different pay scale than what they are.
She has a huge advantage of basically, other than that moment when she brings everybody there, she's just kind of calling shots from a pretty safe place.
Yeah,
at least that's the first time we see her.
Kansas City's not a safe place.
It's also a lot easier to just be like, go kill everybody for me. Like,
she's like a McDonald's and be like on a walkie-talkie. Look,
but I did think.
Thank God she has a Perry. Yeah.
I did think that, as a matter of fact, a conversation between her and Perry I thought was very interesting because, like we said, those characters weren't in the game. Perry, Kathleen, they were not in the game. So, like,
it should have been
the conversation where Perry says, "We loved your brother. He was the fucking best guy, but he didn't change anything. You did." So that's why, like I was just like, okay, so that's why they follow her. So I guess, even though because when Perry's coming up, he's like, "Yo, we can't put people on this stuff. We don't have enough people as it is. We need to concentrate on this." Oh, so really? So Henry's 7th on your list. He's number 1 on mine. I was like, yo. Go ahead.
Kathleen's like a mega Karen. Like, this is what happens if a Karen becomes a freaking dictator. And guess what? Shit's going to get done. It's going to be a little messed up. Yeah. She's going to have to talk to a lot of managers. But...
I think the more thing I'm more worried about is Kathleen, a.k.a. Karen, having a 9mm pistol in her hand, like she's waving it like she don't care. It's like every time I see her, she's like, "Hi, see, I have a gun. I have a gun."
Why are you crying right now? I'm just trying to talk to you.
You're waving a gun at my head,
Okay, so this is actually the part that I felt it's like a little small nitpicky thing, but it's like you don't see them go to the hotel. It's just all of a sudden, bam, they're at the hotel.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what happened? What happened between that
and that? See them go through the fence and the trees around it. That was the gateway to safety.
Because remember,
that was a quick hotel.
It's like a video game.
That's a quick hotel ride.
That's a safe point. It's a checkpoint right there.
As Joel was making his way around to the sniper, he did look and see this. He saw that bridge that Henry was describing.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, he was telling the truth. You know what I mean? So he comes to that realization. He's like, but I still got to fuck with this sniper. So he goes to the sniper, but he looks at. I like the way they showed it, just so you could say, he was like, damn, Henry was telling the truth. And then so he goes up to the sniper, and then we saw what happened towards the rest of the episode. Look, that mission in the game, actually playing it is tense. It is hard. It's fun. It's incredibly fun. The game's but like they took that and elevated it to a level that I just was like, yo, can you imagine playing a game if like a hole opened up in the ground? You're like, yo, what's going on?
Yeah. Just that first shot when they first start coming before the bloater comes, when it's just them coming out of the ground and it's just them shooting, and it's that top shot with all of them just shooting at. That's a great shot. That was great shot.
I've called plenty of men Karens, Cheka. All right.
Actually, I call one person Ken. That's which is actually the husband of Karen. So yeah. But okay.
So where are we at the hotel now?
Yeah, we're at the hotel,
so
and of course,
players knew what was going to happen. Like the second week,
I did too.
It looked. As soon as it got to there, I was like, damn it. Like, we're not going to get another episode with these guys. Oh,
no, definitely not. It's like,
here we are.
It's her, like you said, and as we were talking in the beginning, it's the blood transfusion. Like, I'm going to save you. And then you're thinking, like, wow, really?
I was thinking, though, maybe they were going to go crazy and it was going to work. For a second, I was like, maybe it might.
The scene is too heartbroken in the game to not do.
Oh, I know.
To do the wake up, and it's slightly a little different, but you walk up to him.
It makes you nice and calm. You're like, oh, he's going to be saved. And then, boom, hi, I'm going to freaking eat you.
Well, that's the thing, though, too. For me, I was like, wait, it's the next day. Of course, I knew what happened in the game.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm thinking, okay, did it? And part of me is like, are they going beat for beat for the game?
There, kind of quiet.
Because he's just right. I'm like, and I'm thinking, no, girl, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
She did.
Yeah.
And then
And the saddest part
that,
about that though is the fact that because I was like, why is he not attacking her? And it hit me after it that it's only when she touched him, because obviously he's deaf, he can't even hear. He's just sitting there, zombified. And that was the saddest part, because he was asking about like if the monster's in you when you turn, and I was like, oh, the innocence of these fucking kids.
That was like a little tearjerker for me.
Now, seriously, Jamie, that is one of the most fire additions in that part, because you get sort of this thing like in the game, it plays out similarly. And obviously, she wakes up in the morning, she's like, yo, and obviously, you see what happens in the game. But that little back and forth with the scratch pad, that shit was incredible.
And it lasted the tension of the scratch. Who knew that two characters talking via a notebook?
Yes.
It's like a 2-minute scene. And the whole time you're like, oh no. And it's just giving me a buffer to know what's going to happen the next morning.
Yeah.
And it also adds layers to Ellie as well, because like Ellie already felt guilt from old mate last week getting shot, paralyzed, and then dead, like killed, and because of her, even though technically it wasn't her fault. And then obviously this one as well, like she will feel guilt again because she promised him she'd stay up with him all night. And then on the, when she's laying that notepad down and she's got "I'm sorry" on there, like it's just so heartbreaking. The whole thing, the show just rips you. It doesn't give a fuck.
It does. Absolutely.
I agree.
Because here's the thing, too. My wife asked me. She goes, "So what did you think of the show?" She goes, "That was fucking depressing." I'm like, I was like, look, I said, this is exactly what you don't get attached to the characters during a zombie apocalypse. Anyone can go at any time and stuff like that.
You have to remember, regardless of what we're watching it on and what it's based off of, at the end of the day, this is horror, and it is scary, and it is sad, and it is depressing. I remember reading all the Walking Dead comics too quick. Like, because I forgot that there are horror books. Then I get like 100 issues in like 2 weeks, and I'm having nothing but nightmares, and I'm like just a depressed freak. My wife's like, read something happy. Whip out an X-Men book for a week. Let's stop. And that's in people got to remember that this is still, it's not going to be fun. Like, this isn't a fun time.
No, definitely not. It's not like, oh, give me more. You know what I'm saying? I want to shoot more kids or whatever. But here's the thing.
Can we clip that out?
Kids die all the time. But yeah,
that's a clip.
Oh, that's a flip of the tongue there.
I just want to say it was really well done. Like it was really well done from start to finish. And at the end, that scene was coming. And look, because it aired on a Friday instead of a Sunday, so me and my wife were in bed, we're watching it, and as it gets to the end, I was like, "Oh my God, are they gonna do?" Because I knew what was coming. I knew. Man, my wife was mad attached to Sam, bruh. Like she was just she just kept saying, "I don't care what happens as long as they don't kill the kid." And I couldn't say nothing. I'm not you know what I'm saying?
Introduce a deaf child for what reason? To make you sad when they kill him. That's why he's there.
Yeah. And
like, that's a new hero. Like,
that's another, like I said, that addition of making him, hearing impaired as opposed to in the game he wasn't. That was fucking genius, man. So it obviously it happens, and when it gets close to it, I'm like, when they were still in the little, cul-de-sac and shit was happening with all the clickers and stuff, I was thinking to myself, are they going to do it? Are they going to do it exactly like they did?
Right.
And I was thinking back to the previous episodes. I was like, well, they did a lot of shit exactly like they did in the game. Are they going to do this one exactly? And bruh, let me tell you something.
That was rough. That was rough.
So I said, this is just the one thing that I was kind of thinking they might go a different way on, just because it's a character that they can sort of bank on for another week and then do it. You know what I mean? Where I thought maybe they could stretch him out a little more. But yeah, once I saw him sitting there on the bed in the morning and she started walking up, I've seen that too many times in anything, I was
Well,
like,
as
oh, no,
a
he's
non-game
dead.
player,
He's
though,
dead.
I did not know what was going to happen. Obviously, you
Sure.
guys know from the previous weeks. I've
Sure.
never
Yeah.
played it. So when Joel and Henry were having that conversation, and he's like, I'm going to wherever the fuck it was. Do you want? You can come. And again, that was a beautiful moment that he's opening up to these strangers, going to accept them into his life, only for them to leave in a couple of minutes. But anyway, that moment there, I thought, oh my god, this guy's bit. This guy's bit for sure. Like, and I thought Henry was bit, and Sam was going to be cared for by Ellie and Joel, at least for a week. Like, I did think he was eventually going to die. Like, it wouldn't be this forever thing, but fucking to kill them both.
No,
Jesus.
the way Henry goes out in the game, I always didn't like as much because I feel like he had you still shot your own brother, but this one feels so much more. Where if I was on his shoes, I would have done it. Like in the game, I'm like, oh, whoa. But here, I'm like, yeah, dude, out. Like you're not that guy.
Well, not
He's
even
not
that.
the
He just
violent
snaps
Henry.
back in. Yeah, but
And that's what.
Yeah,
that's the difference. Is
That's
because
right,
he's more
right.
cold-hearted in the game. And I was like, you were just gonna move on and just be hardened. But he's not that guy in this one. So he's like, I'm not Joel. I'm not gonna just be a little more hateful and just move over. No, screw this.
I think what shocked me is what he said after he shot him. It's like, what have I done? Well,
yeah. In the game, it's similar.
He blanked. You could tell he blanked.
He blanked. Like
completely.
You're pointing a gun and you shoot your brother, your little brother. And
you can't live with yourself because you've done that.
But I was not expecting to see him pull the gun on him and then just shoot. I was not expecting. That was like listen, I respect the way they did that twist because, and like you said, everyone who plays the game knows the truth, but then here's that twist that threw everybody off. So kudos to the directors and the writers on that.
Oh, sure.
Well, they know when to follow it and they know when to do it. If this was handled by other people, they would go, "Oh, let's change expectations," and we're not going to end it that way because the game people know. But no, these guys know that it was so powerful to watch in the game, and they even made it more powerful this time.
Oh,
yeah, they have to do it, and it was so horrible to see. And
and like I said, my wife, when it took it, and she, they burst out the door, Ellie and Sam, and it's fucking, it's going. She because obviously she didn't know because I'm not telling her shit because I like what I'm saying, experience it. Like I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but when it happened, she was just tensed up, and then obviously he shoots Sam. And my wife lost it for a minute. And then I was like, couldn't say shit because I was like, damn it, it's about to get worse. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, if you didn't like that, close your eyes.
It's like OxyClean. Wait, there's more. But
it's true.
Just flipping Billy Mays is in the room. Like right after they kill Sam, it's like, whoa, wait! And then
No, but then that happened, and she was talking. But it drew her into the show more, so she can't wait for next week. Just like I'm sure all of us can't wait to see.
Exactly.
How many one episode? How many one episode character performances are we getting? Like Sam gave this amazing performance. Then we had frickin' Bill gives us we're getting these one episode Emmy noms. Like
you know what? I did want to ask that. I thought about that earlier, and I want to ask you guys. Now that you mentioned that, there's a category in the Emmys when it comes to dramas or whatever shows. It's sort of for guest spots. You know what I mean? Like, is it all going to be filled with the Last of Us characters?
They're getting
Nick Offerman for sure.
This is gonna be The Last of Us.
Like Ron Swanson deserves it. Sam deserves it. Like
the actor who played Frank in the third episode. The actor who played Frank.
The guy from
he gets
freaking White Lotus.
Sure.
Could you just imagine like people from the Game of Thrones spinoff being in there, then all the other TV shows. It's like so the winner is son of a bitch.
It's funny because it's happened before when the final season of Game of Thrones came out, when the Emmy came up for Best Actress. Everything in the category was Game of Thrones except for Ruth from Ozark, and guess who won? Ruth from Ozark.
Oh wow!
Ozark.
But
they every lead actress from Game of Thrones got nominated, and then there was The actress who plays Ruth.
Yeah.
Hey,
Like
yeah.
everybody from this show and some random dude from Blue Bloods. It's like, oh man,
Right. Yeah.
Donnie
I can
Wahlberg.
see them texting the agent. Look, I don't think I have this.
they're giving it
yeah.
to Steve Sharippa.
Look-
What?
Right. Look,
Mhm.
I need out of this award ceremony now. I'm the
Yeah.
only one here.
Oh no, Donnie Wahlberg's here. Oh no.
But
But
look,
I think
all in all-
they'll get love. I think the show's gonna get a good bit of love.
Yeah.
When it
Oh,
comes
they're gonna
to
have
time.
some
Yeah,
nominations
they're gonna
without
get
a doubt.
for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think Pedro Pascal's pretty much guaranteed, right? I think he's
right.
Oh
I
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think
yeah.
with
Pretty
an
much
Ellie,
guaranteed.
that
Yeah, for sure.
Him and
Ellie.
yeah.
Bella Thorne, Bella, what's her name?
Bella Ramsey. Bella
Bella
Ramsey.
Ramsey.
Ramsey, right? Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Oh, without a doubt. But then,
She'll-
I've
she'll-
done
uh,
interviews with her.
but when you, I want to see who. I get we're with the nominations. Like who else is going to go against them?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's
Pedro
House of the
Pascal for
Dragon
the
already-
Mandalorian.
I just swing by show somebody.
Yeah, I
else.
know he's gonna go
Excellent.
Mandalorian. The
Oh,
Last of
House
Us.
of Dragon already had their Emmys, right? Because there's two, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, as long as
Yeah.
it stays, it doesn't as long as it dodges House of the Dragon, we're good. Because
Pedro Pascal. for
I'm
Last of
loving
Us.
this, but if you're gonna look at me in the face and tell me that Patty Considine's not getting it for Viserys,
Oh,
For- no,
Right.
for
Get the
sure.
hell out of
Once again,
here.
Yeah, for
Pedro
sure.
gets
Yeah,
killed
for
by
sure.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
So-
there you go.
yo, and he was on there, so he'd be like, yeah.
But anyways, all in all, this was a great show. This is a great episode once again.
Mhm.
I like how that tension was released finally after seeing the breathing floor and stuff like that too. And then, of course,
Is that how you
You know-
release tension?
the tension was released. But I just really enjoyed this episode, and I love talking to you guys about The Last of Us every Wednesday night. So my other thing is this. So going ahead, do your tags. Tell me each review of what you guys have coming out for the following week, and then we'll start wrapping up.
Sure.
Okay.
Well,
You got orchestrated, buddy. We're not.
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay then. So I'll go ahead, go with Sleevie G, and then after that Taco, and then so
you go.
forth.
Okay. Well, pretty straightforward, guys. As you see, the name is Sleevie G Podcast. I started this podcast just about a month ago. Just had an Emmy Award-winning anchor reporter on my episode 4 that just got released literally today.
nice.
So she is from New Jersey, Jersey strong, as we always say here now. It got a lot of upcoming things coming up soon. I got about another 13 more recordings happening in the next month and a half. I am part of Playlist Wars. Brian and I, Brian Colburn, my partner and my co-host on Playlist Wars, he is now on My Weekly Mixtape. The reason we're on a hiatus is because our schedule with our kids is very difficult. But, check them out on myweeklypodcast.com. With me, you can check me on sleeviegpodcast.com. Find me on Twitter, SleevieG79. Find me on Instagram now, SleevieG79. Find me on Facebook. Connect to the link tree. You'll go to all my YouTube. Subscribe. Good Pods, Spotify. I'm all over the place. Subscribe, leave some love, and enjoy the show, guys. I really hope to catch you guys even on my show. If you want to jump on, hit me
I'm
up
always
on
there.
everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Let me know. We'll schedule something. John, before everyone came on, we just scheduled him, and he's going to come in March too. So
Right.
Nice. nice.
any of you guys
Nice.
want to come on, it's a chill show. It's
Mhm.
not an interview. It's talking and just have fun.
Conversation. I love it.
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. man. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I'm over at Something to Talk About on YouTube. So I do a lot of geeky stuff. I've been doing some Star Wars lore videos, really obscure Star Wars lore, and some Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones lore. But tomorrow, and Jedi Master Tuck will be joining me, along with somebody in the comments and a couple other people. I got the Geek Gauntlet tomorrow, so it's a 16-person tournament with 16 different characters from all kinds of movies and everything, and we all vote on who would win in a gladiatorial fight until you get down to one. In it, we do got RoboCop versus Inspector Gadget's our first match. Yeah, that's what's up. And then we got K2SO from Rogue One is going against Terminator, and Trinity from Matrix versus Alice from Resident Evil. We got a we got some really good fights. So that's going to be tomorrow. It's something to talk about. Please show up live. Your votes, any vote in the comments totally counts. And besides that, That's all. Find me on Twitter. I just posted stuff for the show. So if you subscribe,
And of course, his subscriptions will be in the show notes as well. In this,
look, it's professional over here.
Right.
Yeah, there we go.
I do all the hard work for you.
I'll be looking at it.
What about for you, Don?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Jedi Master Talk. You can find me at the Multiverse of Geekdom, where we have Star Wars shows. We have all kinds of shows. Lost, we do a Lost show every week where we are rewatching Lost, which is really fun. But definitely excited to be on Taco's show tomorrow night. I can't wait for that. It's always
I can't
a great
wait.
time. So
I can't
yeah, check me out anywhere on the Multiverse of Geekdom and here and on everybody's channel. I pop in.
You get around on.
Exactly.
Well, he's a handsome guy. What can I say?
What about for you, though, Anthony?
You can find me. Just search the ACS Universe on YouTube. You could at 2279 ACS on all forms of social media. Add an underscore to that for Twitter. Because they suspended my account one time, so I had to remake one.
Remember
that?
Not surprising.
Because that's how they do you for ridiculous stuff. But anyway, if you're a sports fan, obviously my show Instant Replay just wrapped up its season 4 yesterday because the football season's over. So we'll be back sometime around the draft and things of that nature. I'm very interested in this. What Taco was just talking about with this combat thing. I need to
Geek Gauntlet. I'll send you a link. What's up, yo?
I need
Slip into my DMs. What's up?
I need to find more about it, and I talked to Don yesterday about some stuff.
Yes,
some
can't say much yet, but yes, absolutely.
Yeah, some stuff. But this has been a pleasure, man, and I look forward to seeing y'all next Wednesday and every Wednesday until this show has reached its finale for the first season. And when it comes back for the second season, I'll be looking forward to it again. You guys are great. This is a blast. I love this content, and now that the show is here, it's elevated it and it's made it great. And I do love the fact that there's a lot of people who haven't played the game who are like loving it as well. And sort of you can blend those two worlds, which is what the game and the show is doing for those two particular mediums of content. And man, just search me on every 2279 ACS. You'll find me everywhere. And I appreciate the invite as always, John. So
not a problem, man. I'm always glad to have y'all. So, Jamie, saving the best for last. So,
I'll pay you later. You can catch me on all the socials. I'm on pretty much everything, but I don't know how to use Twitter properly, so I'm not very good on that one. But mostly YouTube. So subscribe to my channel. And if you subscribe to my channel, you will see reviews and trailer reactions, and then reviews of TV series and movies. I think the last one that I did was a rom-com. The next one will be obviously Ant-Man. I'm watching that one tonight. So I'll do a review of that one. And then every week we do a live show where we do like weekly entertainment news in the film and TV world with my buddy Tyrone from the Circle Club. So I do that live stream every week as well. And then I'm very lucky enough to interview people from movies and TV shows that I like to watch. So I've got a really big one coming up. I can't say who it is, but oh my gosh, I'm so excited about that. But yeah, so reviews, reactions, interviews, live streams, whatever, just come on over and give me a sub. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of jealous that you did Superman from the Titans show. I was like, you gotta be kidding
Amazing.
me. I'm actually jealous because
I love Titans and Josh is beautiful. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite shows, and that character and the guy who plays who does Nightwing is unreal. I love that show, and those two guys make that show so well. I mean, don't get me wrong, the whole cast is unreal. Red Hood. Everybody, they do a phenomenal job what they did for this show, but to see you have him on your show is unreal. I was very jealous. I was like, no.
I'm very surprised that people want to talk to this random Aussie girl that doesn't like talk shit on movies half the time. But fantastic. Right. Yeah,
let's get out of here or we never will.
For you,
okay,
right
so,
now.
Let them keep talking about me. Let them keep talking me up.
We can do this in the green room, guys.
Sorry, Joe.
Okay, so as far as my stuff goes.
Fair. I mean,
okay,
you think you get a chance to no, come on, man.
Bye,
Been
Don.
on your show the whole time.
Just
What up?
kidding, just kidding. But no, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, I'm going to be doing a trivia show with Frenchie, and also too, we're also going to be having Scene Invaders podcast facing off against each other with Rossi and I, and it's going to be called Cinema Dogfights. So that's what we're going to be doing here at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time for that show. Then I'll have 50 Shades of Geek joining me on Friday night, 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, reviewing a little short film with that. And of course, Rossi's also doing a show about right after my show tomorrow night, and that's going to be at 9:15 Central Standard Time, 7:15 Pacific Standard Time, and she's going to be reviewing the very last episode of the Let the Right Wine In, and that's going to be wrapping up her segment for that series. So that's everything here at Movie Lovers Unite. I hope everyone has a great and safe night, and bye-bye.